I'm with Mark Harris, Tournament Director. Big event here, the 4th Annual Fishing for a Cure for ALS Bass Tournament. How many people do you have out here? Looks like you have about 50, 60 participants.
We had 60 total boats. I think it ended up being around 116 total participants. We had a few singles go out.
Now, I talked to some fellows who were down here on Smith Lake for a professional tournament. They can't catch any fish. You folks did fine, didn't they?
Yeah, we actually had probably more than what we expected. We had a good winning weight of 1724, and then we had around 15 boats that had 11 plus pounds.
Now, what is it?
First place, boat number 17, Brooks and Stagg, with a total weight of 1724.
There's a $5,000.
$5,000 to win.
That's a pretty sweet payout for
Yes,
a day's work. Now, tell us about the cause here. You've been at this for your 4th year. It's big for you and your family, isn't it?
It is. Started this in 2012. The association part. We started working with the ALS Foundation in 11 when my uncle was diagnosed. But we started the tournament in 12, had the first 2 here, moved it to the park, and then we decided to move it back down here this year and trying to grow it each year. ALS is more commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease. It is a neurological, am I saying that?
Neurological degenerative
disease. No cure for it at this time. Nothing. They've got some drugs that they're waiting on approval that'll slow down the progress, but nothing to reverse it or cure it. So that's what we do this for, is to raise money, raise awareness for both patient care in the state of Alabama, as well as research.
Well, and that's a big part of the battle these days, is just the patient care, because you can extend their lifespan and make their life more comfortable while this process goes on, correct?
Exactly. Take a little bit of the financial burden off them when you can.
Now I understand we've got the Diane Harris. How
Yes.
are you related to Mark?
Okay, Mark is my nephew.
Aha.
Yes, and it's my husband Danny that was diagnosed with ALS on April the 28th of 2011. So he's done extremely well for a disease that 50% of the patients die within 2 years of diagnosis. So he's on 6.5 years since diagnosis. He had symptoms for 2 years prior to that. But he was diagnosed at Emory in Atlanta, and he was diagnosed the day after the tornadoes went through. We were traveling to Atlanta on April the 27th for his appointment early that next morning.
So for people who might not know, what symptoms do people experience early on?
He has started what would they call bulbar onset, which is your upper, your speech, your swallowing, and he has not been able to talk for about 3 years. He is now getting real weak in the legs. So you have limb onset or you have bulbar onset. And normally bulbar onset don't live as long as limb onset because it does affect all your voluntary muscles, which means it affects your diaphragm into your lungs to a certain extent. And most patients die with respiratory failure.
Oh, it's tough, isn't it?
It is.
Well, you guys are doing God's work out here and bringing awareness to it, and
we're trying.
And having fun at the same time.
Yeah.
So, Mark, can we count on the 5th annual next year?
Absolutely. Hopefully bigger and better. One of the things that we've been working towards is a 501c3 designation, and we got that approved this year. So we're hoping for some better corporate options and sponsorship next
Fantastic.
year.
Guys, thanks for talking to me. Great event. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. This really, it means a lot to me, my whole family, that we appreciate all the support we get from you guys every year.